Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
You can't tell the city of Philadelphia anything. They've seen it all. They've heard it all. They've said it all. But you know what we can tell them something about? What it's like to play and win a Game 7. Because we beat Mariano freaking Rivera and the Yankees in Game 7. And because in 140-plus years, the Phillies have never once played a Game 7. And you can almost feel that city's collective anxiety from 2,341 miles away, and I could bathe in it. Remember, Phillies fans and others mocked us for doing the wave at the end of Game 5. They mocked us by buying tickets to Game 3 and leaving them empty. But they were the ones leaving their famed hostile box of a stadium early on Monday night, and can you imagine if the D-backs beat them again in Game 7 on their turf in a series that once felt like a speed bump to them? Can you imagine the deafening roar of that silence? Now, if our baseball team pulls it off, this is going to be one of the best nights we have ever had. We are being repped by an 84-team win that moonwalked into the postseason with a 4-game losing streak, only to sweep the Brewers, sweep the Dodgers, and now has the loudest, proudest, baddest sports town on the planet in full-on grip. And I haven't seen a team in a city potentially crack like that since the Liberty Bell. Babe.
Let's party!
Today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
We're a very resilient group. You can say when our backs are against the wall, it brings the best out of us. Guys tend to turn up the focus. And gives us a little edge. So maybe that's what we needed.
Yeah, it's going to be all hands on deck. It's going to be fight, scratch, call, do whatever you can to score a run, find a way to get outs, find a way to move up an extra 90 feet, anything that you can. Tomorrow's going to be a really exciting baseball game because, anything goes. This could be it, and it's exciting. It's going to be good, anxious nerves coming in the field tomorrow. This is what you live going into the backyard. Game 7. Put yourself in that, in those situations. So it's going to be fun.
Tommy Pham and Kyle Schwarber, both sides of this. Tommy Pham saying resilient when their backs are against the wall. They proved that yesterday. Now you got two teams with their backs against the wall. Both championship series going to a Game 7. And, man, I can't get over that fact. 140 years of Phillies baseball, they've never played a Game 7?
Yeah. Again, they haven't gripped like this since Mitch Williams was part of their bull. Mitch Williams.
Well, think about in the
Wild thing.
The Phillies have gone through long, long stretches of their history where they've been terrible.
True.
So they haven't. I mean, it sounds like an insane stat, the Game 7 thing, but it's not like they're in the playoffs every year for 100 years. They've gone through long, decades where they haven't been good.
That's accurate. But here's the thing about this year's team and why this night is so delicious from my vantage point. Early on in this series and throughout the postseason, when this team took down the Braves, and they took down the Braves fueled by Orlando Arcia's sort of poking fun at attaboy Bryce, attaboy Harper. Yep. Okay. The city of Philly, they're crazy about all their sports towns. They bring that energy to all their stadiums, but they fell in love with this team. This team really represents who they like to be and who they want to be and how they want to project themselves on a big stage. There was a time when Philadelphia Phillies World Series champions 2023 felt like destiny. I know you and I both use that word. Mm-hmm. They felt like a team destined to right the wrong from last year, and their crowd was reacted accordingly, fell in love with the team, and now to have this almost being taken away from them by an 84-win team from Arizona.
By, in their mind, a bunch of no-name guys we've never heard of.
By a bunch of humps, Jared.
Yes. So it is delightful.
Somebody pointed out to me that that we've kind of had Philly's number from a sporting perspective for quite some time. From the Charles Barkley trade to the NFC Championship game with Donovan McNabb and Kurt Warner. Mm-hmm. I don't know what else there is in that stew.
Suns and Sixers don't cross
Not
paths.
really.
Really?
Yeah.
Coyotes and Flyers don't really. Well, Temple beat ASU, right?
Okay,
in that playing game.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
You're
now we're
digging
reaching.
deep.
Jared.
I'm trying to
You're digging deep, Jared.
trying to think. But it
Did
is
anybody beat up on St. Joe's recently?
Yeah, right.
It is interesting.
Right.
If you're going to defeat two fan bases back to back, the Dodgers fans and the Philly fans is a pretty nice path to get to the World Series,
and then you might get Dallas after that. Now the World Series, by the way, folks, would start Friday night. It is starting Friday night in Texas.
Will it be in Texas even if the Phillies win? Because they had the same number. They're both 90-win teams.
I think I saw this morning that
Okay.
the thing is starting in Texas Friday night.
We won't consider that possibility.
You know what?
Jared's earlier
But
point.
my
though,
point is that the Diamondbacks get to the Rangers. They can beat the Rangers. And I know the Rangers are good, but I am tripping that in a season that we are all expecting the Phoenix Suns to deliver us that long, elusive, awaited championship, the first one major professional championship in 22 years, and the Diamondbacks might beat them to it.
We've circled today on the calendar for
Yes.
3-4 months.
As the start of our journey.
And today is the biggest day, but not because it's Suns opening
Right.
day.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
I think in the course of the Diamondbacks being in the playoffs, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this question gets asked quite a bit, on a poll question or a social studies question, the question came up, who's going to win the next championship in Phoenix? And I don't even think the D-backs won the voting during the playoffs.
Yeah, right. Because that's how improbable this all probably
Now they're
felt.
5 wins away, one win away from getting to play for it.
World Series baseball at Chase Field. Who would have thunk that, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, this is all too much in such a great way. It's last night was such a resolute, stout baseball game, and for that crowd just to go silent.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys noticed this in the break room. There's a cricket. Have you heard it? There's like
It's been there for like a week
It's
and a
been there
half.
for a week.
Yes.
That's what Citizens Bank sounded like at the end of last night. Crickets.
Leave Jarrett's lunch alone.
Oh, Jared.
Brandon fought on the mound for Game 7. Fought? Game 6.
How long do you think he's lasting? When do you think he's getting pulled from this game?
Is his leash longer?
It can't be longer. There's no way.
No, yeah.
Torrey pulled Merrill Kelly after 5.
And he almost got beat up.
Yeah. He already pulled Fott early in the series in Game 3. And with the all hands on deck philosophy, it's by definition it's got to be shorter.
And what does that mean? How does that play out? Like, do we see Gallen?
Like in the third?
Is it like
the
only in
fourth?
case of emergency, or is he like one of the first guys they go to?
I think you're going to see him. I think you're going to see him for an inning. I don't know.
Remember, I mean, they used all their high leverage guys yesterday, as Alex brought up with us earlier.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I'm already like getting nervous now. The more we talk about
they
this
get-
and like the scenarios.
Yeah, there's one guy who ain't pitching today for the D-backs, and it's Merrill
Yeah, it's
Kelly.
Merrill
Everybody
Kelly.
else is a
Yeah.
possibility.
Yeah.
And there's one guy who ain't pitching for Philly, and it's Aaron Nola. And maybe Craig Kimbrell in a
Yeah.
high leverage situation.
Could you just imagine if this baseball team could get like to the 8th inning with a 1-run lead? Just what those last 2 innings are going to feel like.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, this is good. This is good. There's a reason why they say there's nothing like playoff baseball, especially when you got a team involved. It's unbelievable.
And they say there's no sweeter words in sports than Game 7.
You know, and it's funny that you should bring that up because Vinny and I we amended that rule because of the Phoenix Suns, and we said that there's no sweeter thing than a Game 7 as long as your team is not involved. I'm going to amend that. As long as your team is not expected to win. Then Game 7s are fantastic.
Let's live through it tonight,
do
and then
this.
It's
Yeah.
always about expectations.
We'll compare notes
Everything
tomorrow.
is about
It's a good point,
expectations.
Jarrett. We'll compare notes tomorrow.